How using hyperbole well makes you a writing king.
I've got so much homework this weekend. It's going to take me years.
Well, my math homework is so confusing that it's making my head spin.
We should get something to eat before we start. I'm starving.
Good idea. I'm about to die of hunger. Should we take the speakers in this conversation literally? Of course not. They're definitely hungry and have a lot of difficult homework to do. But most of what they're saying is hyperbole. This is a speaking and writing technique that uses over-exaggeration. Hyperbole is used on purpose, and listeners and speakers aren't supposed to take it at face value. It's done to emphasize points for humor or to catch people's attention. When hyperbole is used badly, it can become a meaningless cliché. For example, your mom might say, "I've told you to pick up your clothes 1,000,000 times." This won't make you clean up any faster. However, a well-written piece of hyperbole can help advertise something. The energy drink Red Bull claims, "Red Bull gives you wings." It doesn't, but the slogan is certainly memorable.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to English for You. I'm Mike.
I'm Nikki.
And I feel like $1,000,000 today. I'm 40 feet tall.
Wow, what happened?
Well, I do. I actually feel like $1,000,000 and I am 40 feet. No, of course I'm not. I can't feel like $1,000,000. I'm a person. I can't be 40 feet tall. Otherwise, I'd be in the NBA. And I'd have more than $1,000,000. But no, I'm using hyperbole. I'm using exaggeration to give you an idea of something, in this case, how I feel. Do you ever use hyperbole?
I think I use it to my students a lot. All the time.
So not just once in a million years.
Yeah, not just once in a million. It's all the time, every single day.
Every
24/7.
second of every day.
Exactly.
Probably not that either, right? But by saying every second of every day, Nikki gives me the idea that she uses it a lot. Not every second of every day. She's got to sleep and brush her teeth and do other things. And of course, not once in a million years, because that would mean Nikki is really, really old. And no one is that old. But by saying once in a million years, that's almost never, right? So I could say something like, "Oh, I eat spicy hot pot like once in a million years. I really don't eat it often. But of course, I probably ate it like 2 years ago. Certainly not a million." But by using hyperbole, you're using expressions that give people an idea by having a little bit of exaggeration, going a little bit beyond what's normal, but making your idea much easier to understand. So let's have a look at our dialogue and find out what Danny and Vera are talking about that requires them to use some hyperbole. Danny begins the dialogue. He says, "I've got so much homework this weekend." Oh yeah. "It's going to take me years. Years it's going to take him, but the weekend is only 2 days long. This doesn't make any sense."
Yeah, and then Vera says, "Well, my math homework is so confusing that it's making my head spin."
Wow, look at her head. It's turning around in circles. That's going to break her neck and she'll die. That's not possible. Of course, it's not really making her head spin, but again, hyperbole. What is it to spin? To spin is to kind of turn around and around on one point. If you're spinning on a dance floor, you're in a kind of a spin. If you see a racing car suddenly start turning around as it goes off the track, and it's turning around like the arms on a clock going crazy, then that car is spinning. And yes, slowly over an hour, I guess you could say, the arms on a clock or the second hand every minute, it spins around that middle point in the center of the clock, because that is what to spin is. Things often spin fast, but things can spin slowly too, like the Earth spins once every day. Here's another person who spins. The ballet dancer can spin on one toe for almost 30 seconds, or the b-boy, the break dancer, can spin on their head for almost 30 seconds. Dancers spin a lot, don't they?
Yeah. 那今天的课文要跟我们介绍一个写作的小技巧。首先呢 Danny 就告诉我们他的功课超多，要写好几年才写得完。那 Vera 又说他的数学作业超难，让他感到头晕。Spin 是动词，指的是旋转。If something is spinning, it is turning around very quickly. So we hear this phrase very often. Oh, my head is spinning, or the room is spinning. Usually it means that you feel dizzy and you can't balance.
Exactly right. Or, like Vera, maybe you're just so confused. It's really hard to understand things if your head is spinning like that. Like you get suddenly news that says, you're actually going to be the Queen of Luxembourg next year. You're like, what? What? I can't believe it. This is crazy. I don't know what to think. My head is spinning. Back to the dialogue. Danny says, we should get something to eat before they start studying. I'm starving, he says. Wow, he is dying of hunger. But no, he's not really. Vera says, good idea. I'm about to die of hunger. So she's saying basically the same thing. I'm starving, because that's actually what starving is. If you talk to a doctor, starving is when your body is kind of eating its own meat in order to keep you alive. This generally would only happen if you've had no food for like a week or more. You're so hungry, your body is actually doing stuff so that it doesn't die. But people also use this just to say, I'm quite hungry. I haven't eaten in more than 5 or 6 hours. My stomach is going grr, 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 grr. I just feel like I really want to have something to eat. You're not starving. You're not close to dying of hunger. You're just using that word to say, I'm really hungry. Here's an example where people actually are starving. After being lost at sea for a week with just a little food, the sailors began starving, and they would die after a few more weeks.
Starving 是形容词，指的是快饿死的。If you're starving, you're feeling extremely hungry. 但它的动词呢，则是 starve， 使挨饿。名词的话，就会是 starvation， 这是饥饿。Be about to do something 指的是将要或者是即将。Vera says she's about to die of hunger. It means that she's going to will die of hunger. Of course, she was being dramatic.
Exactly. So here we have Danny. His homework for the weekend will take him years. Vera's head is spinning, and they're both starving or dying of hunger. Here's a question from the article, now that little dialogue is over. Should we take the speakers in this conversation literally? Should we listen to the words that they're saying and believe every single word, every meaning of every word, even though it seems kind of hard to believe that his weekend's homework will take him years to finish?
所以在看完以上的对话之后，大家会真的觉得这两个人快死了吗？那这就是今天我们要讨论的一个写作技巧。Take something literally 指的是照字面上的意思去理解。Literally 这个副词意思就是逐字底或者是照字面上意思底。If you take something literally, you basically translate things word by word and you're ignoring the pragmatic meanings.
The article says, of course not. We shouldn't take them or believe them literally. They're definitely hungry and have a lot of difficult homework to do, but most of what they're saying is hyperbole. Most of what they're saying is stretching the truth, kind of exaggerating so that you understand what they mean.
那当然大家不会真的觉得他们要死了嘛。那 definitely 是个副词，指的是毫无疑问地、确定地 without any doubt, certainly。那再来是今天的重点 hyperbole 是一个名词，指的是夸饰法。Hyperbole is a way of writing or speaking that makes something seem bigger or more than they really are.
Exactly. And you're doing that so that people understand you, or it's just kind of interesting to speak that way. As it says, this is a speaking and writing technique that uses over-exaggeration. All right, so exaggeration is when you stretch the truth. When you do over-exaggeration, that's making it so no one would really think your homework will take you years, right? That's crazy. So that's over-exaggeration. And this is a technique. A technique is a method or a way of doing something. So there's lots of ways you can write, there's lots of ways you can communicate, lots of ways you can explain what you think or what's going on, but there are many different techniques. You can use a poem, you can use a song, you can write it in a serious way, you can write it in a funny way. These are all different techniques. When we talk about learning how to do things, whether it's playing the violin, where it's cooking, whether it's how to ride a bicycle or play basketball, there are different techniques, different ways of doing things. For example, after working with a tennis coach, Trudy's serving technique became much better. Yeah, coaches and people with a lot of experience, experts, can often teach new people a lot of useful techniques or ways of doing a certain action or activity.
所以说呢 Hyperbole 夸饰法是一种 technique。Technique 是名词，指的是方法、技巧。A technique is a special way of doing something, and it usually involves skills. We can also use the word way or method to say technique.
Yes, that's another way of doing it, sure. Hyperbole is used on purpose, and listeners and speakers aren't supposed to take it at face value. So that's why it's important to understand hyperbole and when people may or may not be using it.
那这样的夸饰法是刻意的，而且不仅是说话者，听者也不该就这样认为字面上的意思。On purpose 指的是故意地、有意地。If you do something on purpose, you do it intentionally. It is not an accident. You know you're doing it. 那再来 take something at face value 指的是光看表面或者是表象就相信、信以为真。
All right, why is it done or why is it used? It's done to emphasize points for humor or to catch people's attention. Those are good times to use hyperbole when you're entertaining people, when you're explaining things, when you're telling a story. Those are great times. Do not use it at the police station. Do not use it in the doctor's office. When facts and information should be very accurate and you should be very careful, do not use hyperbole. You don't tell the doctor, oh my God, my cold, I think I'm going to die. You're not going to die from your cold. You're very sick and uncomfortable, but that's a time when you don't want to use hyperbole, when the facts are very important. But in a story to entertain people, sure, go ahead.
那也就是说 Hyperbole 的用意呢，是为了要制造娱乐效果，或者是吸引大家的注意。Catch somebody's attention 吸引某个人的注意力。When you catch or attract someone's attention, you make them notice you.
Exactly. When hyperbole is used badly, it can become a meaningless cliche. So, yep, you can also use hyperbole too much. For example, your mom might say, I told you to pick up your clothes 1,000,000 times. This won't make you clean up any faster, right? Because you've heard that a bunch. You've heard that 1,000,000 times, and she's going to say it 1,000,000 more times. So if you use it too much, it won't be as effective.
但是呢，如果这样的夸饰法太过于滥用的话，它就会开始失去意义，变成一种老生常谈。好，再来看到 cliché 是个名词，指的是陈腔滥调或是老生常谈。A cliché is something that has been said or so many times it's not interesting or original anymore.
However, a well-written piece of hyperbole can help advertise something. So sometimes you can use it in ways that are not cliché.
好，那在这里我们看到今天的文法 ，Let's take a look. 那英文呢，就是一个很怕冗词赘字的语言，所以常常会有很多文法用来省略一些东西。 在这边我们看到一个复合形容词 well written 是一个形容词或是副词加上一个 VING 或者是 PP， 所以课文中的原句是 A well written piece of hyperbole can help advertise something， 本来应该是 A piece of hyperbole that is written well can help advertise something， 这边我们看到它是副词加上 PP， 也就表示这句话是带有被动的意思。那同样如果是主动的意思的话，我们也可以说 A person that looks good is a good-looking person。
All right, so let's come back and talk about that word we just saw, to advertise. You can use hyperbole to advertise things. To advertise something is to promote something or basically to bring people's attention to something, often for business purposes. We're thinking about a store or a company. They have a new product. Most people don't know about it. They want people to know about it. And if they do, hopefully those people will go and buy it. That is advertising. We get it on our YouTube videos. We see it on the sides of buses and signs all over the city. There are TV ads or advertisements, of course, between our favorite shows. To advertise is basically how businesses say, hey, you guy, you with money. Here's a thing. Do you like this thing? It's a nice thing. Buy this thing. Give us your money. We are advertising. For example, Jason's new gaming company has decided to only advertise on the internet. Yes, most video games don't advertise in newspapers. That would be weird.
Yeah. Advertise 是动词，指的是宣传或是做广告。If you advertise something, you're making that thing more known in public. You're promoting it and most likely persuading people into buying it.
And here's a well-known one that most of you have probably seen or heard. The energy drink Red Bull claims, Red Bull gives you wings. Now, this is, of course, what the company claims when they advertise their drink, that it gives you wings. But, of course, we don't expect to actually fly after drinking a Red Bull, do we? Well, I hope not. But that's what they claim in their advertisements. To claim is basically to say that something is true. I'm not really giving you proof. I'm not really backing up my words with, facts or evidence or anything. I'm just like, yeah, believe me. This is true. And in advertising, this is the greatest shirt you will ever buy. When you buy and wear this shirt, you will never want to buy or wear another shirt ever in your life. That is what they are claiming. It's probably not true, but that's what they want you to believe. So a claim is fine. You can claim whatever you want, but it doesn't mean other people will believe you. Here's an example. The man talking to Judy claims to be Leonardo DiCaprio's brother. I think he's lying.
OK， 那像是提神饮料的广告呢，就有说 Red Bull 给你一对翅膀。那 claim 是动词，指的是声称或是主张。When you claim something, you're saying that thing is true, but it's not necessarily the case. People might not believe you.
Exactly right. It doesn't, the article says. Red Bull does not give you wings, not real wings like a bird or a butterfly. It doesn't, but the slogan is certainly memorable. All right, so that company, the advertising department in the company came up with this slogan, this motto, this catchphrase. Red Bull gives you wings, and we remember it. We think that's neat. It gives us an idea that, Red Bull will give us energy or something. But no one is actually believing it will make you be able to fly like a bird or a bat or a bee. So this is a slogan. A slogan is a motto. It's a catchphrase. It's something that we often hear from a company, and then we see it in their advertisements, and we think about it, we remember it, and that kind of thing, often because they say it over and over and over again. Just do it from Nike. And of course, I'm loving it from McDonald's. These are some well-known slogans. Here's another one you've probably heard. Disneyland's famous slogan is the happiest place on earth. Is it really? I don't think so. It's good hyperbole, though.
OK, slogan 是名词，指的是标语或是口号。A slogan is often easy and short so that people can remember. 那再来，另外看到一个 memorable 这个形容词，指的是难忘的，或者是很容易记住。那它的名词呢，则会是 memory 回忆。
All right, so that's all the time we have for our article. We do have a chat question before we say goodbye. Can you think of any good examples of hyperbole, Nikki? Mention a few.
I think we already mentioned a lot, right? So I'm starving. I haven't eaten in days.
I haven't eaten in days!
Yeah.
Well, then you could be starving, but I don't believe that.
Or I'm so hungry I could eat a horse.
I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. That's a good one. I wouldn't know where to go and buy a horse in a restaurant, and they're big. I don't think I could finish a horse.
Exactly. No one can.
No, I don't think I want to. But that's not the point. It's good hyperbole, though. It makes us know that you really need a lot of food, but maybe not that much. Thanks for joining us, guys. Be well, take care of yourselves, don't eat horses, and we'll see you back here soon. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
Vocabulary Review. Spin. The car's wheels spun quickly in the mud, but the car still didn't move. Starving. I was in a hurry today, so I didn't eat breakfast or lunch. Now I'm starving. Technique. In our science class, we learned a technique for measuring the temperature of different liquids. Advertise. The company wanted to let people know about its new phone, so it advertised it on TV. Claim. Julia claimed to have seen animals from another planet, but she didn't have any photos. Slogan. The students gathered in a park, holding signs with slogans that express their anger toward the government.
智慧小补帖
Literally. Definitely. Hyperbole. Cliché. Memorable.